Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we're going to be comparing Toyota's iForce Max to Chevy's Turbo Max to see which is a better powertrain for a mid-size pickup truck. Before we get this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Chevy in Provo, and then to the Brent Brown Toyota in Orem for giving me some time with both of these trucks. Link to both their inventories in the description down below. Link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering the Tacoma is the new iForce Max. It's a turbo 2.4 liter hybrid 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy combined is 23 miles per gallon. It puts out 326 horsepower and then 465 pound-feet of torque. Now powering the Chevy is a 2.7 liter turbo 4-cylinder, no hybrids, still paired to an 8-speed. Power outputs with this are 310 horsepower and then 430 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy combined is 20 miles per gallon. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you need some more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, this is mainly a powertrain comparison, but I do want to quickly go over the packaging on both these trucks because I feel like they're pretty comparable. So, you've got the Tier D off-road here, and then you've got the Z71 package over here. Both of them actually have dorky air dams here on the front end. With the Tier D off-road, they normally don't have an air dam, but with the iForce Max, you do get an air dam. And then the Chevy just always puts that on the Colorado Z71. If you don't want an air dam, you go for the Trail Boss or you go for the ZR2. But yeah, both of them have that kind of aggressive off-road truck appearance. They also have kind of beefier all-terrain tires. I will say the tread pattern, I think I like that a little bit more on the Chevy, but the Tacoma definitely has a little bit of a larger tire there. You can see the big unpainted fender flares versus the Z71 is painted. Side steps there on the Tacoma, no side steps on the Colorado. And then here's a side profile with the Tacoma. Independent front suspension, solid rear axle, and then you've got a multi-link setup in the back. And with the Tier D off-road package, you got these special Bilstein shocks. Now the Colorado is the same setup with independent front suspension, solid rear axle, but it's got leaf springs in the back, and then you don't really get any fancy shocks here with the Z71. Now, I just want to quickly show that this Colorado as equipped does not have bed protection, but this Tacoma as equipped does happen to have bed protection. And then you guys have seen the interiors of these quite a bit with my comparisons, but here's a quick look at the Z71. It's got this mix between the vinyl and the cloth with the camo trim. It's pretty cool. And then comparing that to the Tacoma, it's actually interesting how it's kind of more utilitarian with this, a little bit more basic. Cloth seats with this. This is not a premium, so a little bit more basic. And that theme kind of continues to the front. So the Z71's kind of like more luxe off-roading. So again, got nice trim there. Let's see here with the front seat. See what the payload is on this one. So 1516, we'll compare that to the Tacoma. Quickly start it up. So full digital gauge cluster here. I do want to show, I actually have to buckle my seatbelt, I guess, to do this. One thing I hate about Chevys is they make you buckle your seat to just put it into reverse. It's so annoying. Anyways, 360 camera system with this, really good resolution with it. We also have a traditional 2-speed transfer case. We also have an advanced four-wheel drive system in general, but there's no selectable locker with this. You got to go up to the ZR2 if you want that. It also does have heated seats as well. So just generally speaking, it's a pretty nice interior, and we'll talk about the pricing in a moment. And this leads us over to the Tacoma. They actually give you some nicer trim here, soft touch. Now payload capacity is a bit less, 1,200 pounds. And then you can see with the cloth seats, quickly pop in, full digital gauge cluster, just like the Colorado. Big screen, but just a backup camera, funny enough. But guess what, I don't have to put my stupid seatbelt on, just go into reverse. You can see here with the heated seats, heated steering wheel, all that single zone climate. Now this does have a selectable locker, which is pretty cool. You've got, you know, Toyota's famous crawl control, all of that. You've got your drive mode select in general. So again, kind of more of a basic interior with this because it's not a premium, but still nice. Now, when it comes to pricing, that Colorado has equipped stickers for about $46K, a little bit over. That Tacoma has equipped stickers for about $56K, again, a little bit over. So there's a $10,000 price swing between these two trucks. Let's drive them and see which powertrain performs the best. Well, let us set off in the Tacoma first because there's someone who needs to look at this and I gotta get it back to the dealership ASAP. And then we'll drive the Colorado second and decide which one is the better rig to go with. So what I'll say first off is, oh, there's another one other way. This is kind of cool with how the torque is just so prevalent in the Tacoma. Just right there, instant response. Again, this is a turbocharged 4-cylinder. Turbocharged 4-cylinders are not known for responsiveness. They have the most turbo lag ever in the history of mankind. It's actually pretty brutal. But the hybrid side of things gives you a punch right off the bat. So it makes this 4-cylinder just feel so torquey. And the 8-speed's, it's smooth. I think they've done a good job with that. And you know, generally speaking, the new Tacoma, it drives well. It's gone a little bit more luxe compared to the previous version. This new platform, it's a really good mix between on-road and off-road use. So things are a little bit firmer, which means that it handles a lot better compared to before. You don't have that same like wishy-washy back and forth body roll feel that you used to have. So it's a lot more direct, which I think a lot of people might like. It kind of leads to a little bit better on-road performance. Now again, this is kind of focusing on the hybrid, or the hybrid versus the non-hybrid, and it's pretty cool. The difference is pretty darn cool. I think another cool comparison would be just comparing the iForce Max Tacoma to the non, to see how big of a difference it actually feels. I'll put that together for you guys at one point as well. But yeah, this is solid so far. It's very, very smooth, and I never feel like I am at a where I'm at a place where I'm lacking power. It feels like there's just always torque. There's always power. And it's smooth too. Like we'll see here with the, ooh, yeah, it moves. So yeah, the iForce Max of the Tacoma, it's got great power. Again, I'm really interested to compare this to the standard powertrain of the Tacoma and see how big of a difference there actually is. But I like it. I really do like it. I think that, and especially when you compare this to the previous gen Tacoma, it's a night and day difference in terms of drivability. You aren't having the gear hunting, and it actually has torque, like a substantial amount, to where when you drive this around, you're just going to be hovering in that, you know, maybe you want to get on it every so often, but most of the time you're just going to be hovering in that, you know, 1 to 2, maybe 3,000 RPM range. You're not really going to be taking this to redline. Maybe getting on the interstate, you'll, like I said, you'll get into it a little bit more. But yeah, this is what happens when you put a ton of power in a mid-size pickup truck. It makes it so it's super fun to drive, and I think it makes mid-size pickup trucks more practical, because, you know, people like myself, I'm not really attracted to a lot of mid-size pickup trucks because they're so slow. This though, it's like, yeah, I think I can get behind that. It's pretty darn quick. Well, let us now set off in the Colorado and compare it to the Tacoma. And I've got some good news, some things that have popped up in the video. I most likely will be able to stop by again a little bit later today and do that hybrid versus non-hybrid comparison with the Tacomas. So we got that going for us, folks. That's a pretty good day. I think I'm going to do a premium Tier D off-road versus that non-premium, because they're almost the same price. Crazy, right? If you get the hybrid, you basically have to choose. If you have a budget mid-50s in a Tacoma, you have to choose between getting premium package, or actually, sorry, I gotta go the other way, so route's the same, or you gotta choose between the hybrid. Interesting comparison. So yeah, right off the bat, this feels great. It's got a large amount of torque, but it's not the same punch that you get from the Tacoma. The Tacoma definitely has a bigger punch right off the bat. It's noticeable. Colorado actually is a little bit more cloud-like with the drive. Interesting. You'd think the Tacoma would be because of the suspension setup, you know, the coil suspension in the back, but I guess they've really dialed in these leaf springs. Now again, this is still hovering at low RPMs. You just don't get the same shove, the same feel of shove that you get in the Tacoma. And that's kind of what I expected, right? Because both of these are 4-cylinder turbos, and although this is close in power to the Tacoma, it's a little bit less power, and where the power comes from, right? This is all engine, whereas the Tacoma's got some electric juice, which always helps out. Yeah, it's really nice though. It's still super torquey. Yeah, this is fun. Yeah, it doesn't have that same. It's not quite as aggressive with the punch. Yeah, they're just, you do feel like, again, the torque difference is very perceivable. It's very perceivable. I was expecting that, but I wasn't expecting it to be as like, it's like a night and day difference almost. So I think that's why I think these traditional hybrids that they're doing are really cool. I think that they might, in fact, be the future. Time will tell. That's for sure. So, to wrap things up with this comparison, should you go Turbo Max or iForce Max? And I think it's just going to come down to your budget, your max budget. Because $10,000 is a boatload of money. That's a lot, and it's not like, it's crazy that this is $10,000 less, and it actually has more features. You know, it's got the 360 camera, for example. I don't know, I think that that's pretty crazy if you ask me. So yeah, I don't know, let me know which one you guys would choose, but I do think that with Toyota's current pricing scheme, it does kind of lean things in the favor of the Colorado. But I'll say, just objectively, you know, not looking at the money, just looking at the powertrains, I like the fact that Tacoma gets better fuel economy and has more power and more torque. Would I pay an extra $10,000 for that? I don't know, because you're surely not going to save that in fuel costs. That's for sure, right? You're not going to spend $10,000 more in gas on this than the Tacoma over the course of the lifespan. At least I don't think so, because there's 20 versus 23 miles per gallon. It's a very small difference. Let me know your thoughts.